North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons has been a long journey. It began in the Cold War, driven by a desire for security and recognition. North Korea has poured resources into its nuclear programs, defying sanctions. The country's isolation deepens concerns about its intentions. Despite condemnation, North Korea continues nuclear tests, posing a growing threat. The Kim dynasty views nuclear weapons as a guarantee of survival. They believe these weapons deter foreign intervention. This commitment makes North Korea a pressing security challenge. North Korea's nuclear and missile programs pose a grave and multifaceted threat to global security. The sheer destructive power of nuclear weapons in the hands of an unpredictable and isolated regime is a cause for deep concern. The international community is particularly worried about the potential for miscalculation or accidents which could have devastating consequences. Beyond the immediate threat of nuclear war, North Korea's actions have far-reaching implications for regional and global stability. The country's repeated missile tests over the Sea of Japan and its bellicose rhetoric have heightened tensions on the Korean peninsula. This has led to an arms race in the region, with neighboring countries bolstering their military capabilities in response to the perceived threat. Furthermore, North Korea's willingness to engage in illicit activities such as arms sales and cybercrime to fund its nuclear program poses a serious threat to international peace and security. The international community has responded to North Korea's nuclear defiance with a mix of sanctions, diplomacy, and military deterrence. The United Nations Security Council has passed numerous resolutions condemning North Korea's actions and imposing sanctions aimed at crippling its economy and cutting off its access to materials and technology needed for its weapons programs. These sanctions have had some impact, but North Korea has proven remarkably resilient and adept at evading them. Despite the challenges, diplomatic efforts to engage North Korea have continued, albeit with limited success. There have been periods of dialogue and negotiation, but these have often broken down due to North Korea's reluctance to denuclearize and its penchant for brinkmanship. The United States, under successive administrations, has pursued a policy of strategic patience, combining sanctions with diplomatic overtures, but this approach has yet to yield a breakthrough. Section 4. Australia's stance on North Korea. Australia has been a steadfast supporter of international efforts to address the North Korean nuclear crisis. The Australian government has consistently condemned North Korea's nuclear and missile tests and has fully implemented United Nations Security Council sanctions. Australia has also imposed its own unilateral sanctions on North Korea, targeting individuals and entities involved in the country's nuclear and missile programs. Beyond sanctions, Australia has been actively engaged in diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis. Australia has consistently called on North Korea to denuclearize and to comply with its international obligations. Australia has also worked closely with its regional partners such as Japan and South Korea to coordinate responses to North Korea's provocations. Section 5. Human rights violations in North Korea. North Korea's abysmal human rights record is inextricably linked to its pursuit of nuclear weapons. The regime's obsession with maintaining its grip on power and its militaristic priorities have come at a horrific cost to the North Korean people. North Korea is a totalitarian state where freedom is non-existent and dissent is brutally suppressed. The government exercises absolute control over all aspects of life, from the information its citizens can access to the jobs they can hold. The country is notorious for its vast network of political prisons, where an estimated 80,000 to 120,000 people are held in horrific conditions. Torture, forced labor, and starvation are commonplace in these camps. The international community has condemned North Korea's human rights abuses and has called for accountability for the perpetrators. Section 6. Challenges and potential solutions. The North Korean nuclear crisis presents a formidable challenge to the international community. Solutions require pressure, diplomacy and long-term engagement. Maintaining international unity is key. A united front is crucial for a denuclearized Korean peninsula. Providing humanitarian aid without supporting the regime is essential.